Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Oh, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
For all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels.
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
Back of the net.
It didn't happen in 49, 61, 63 or 69 when they reached the final. But the class of 2021 have delivered. Leicester City are FA Cup winners at last and are history makers at Wembley.
A modern day football miracle. They have blown their rivals away. They have blown us all away in truth. Premier League champions 2016, the amazing Leicester City!
Leicester Till I Die TV. Your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
And now, here's your host.
Right, Chris.
All right there. Good evening. How the devil are we all? Welcome along on the day that James Justin is picked for England and James Maddison is overlooked. That's a show on its own, isn't it? It's Leicester Till I Die TV. Catch us on YouTube at the aforementioned Leicester Till I Die TV. Do what it says there. Subscribe. Click the old links and likes button if you would be so kind. And if you're listening on your favourite podcast station, thank you very much. If you want to listen on podcast, it's just Leicester Till I Die, and we're on all the main, podcast platforms. Well, I mean, football's over. That's it for another season. But it's not actually, is it? There's still a few little minor games to go, including the rich. I'm having somebody's head shaking at me here. There is some. Let's face it, it's the richest game in football, and we're going to be looking at it and building up to it, and we're going to be looking at the Championship. Indeed. Well, like I say, the richest game in football, and this gentleman supports one of those teams. Ryan, good evening to you, sir. How the devil are you?
Good evening. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
No, I'm okay, thank you very much. Are you doing the proverbial shitting through the eye of a needle yet?
I think you could say that. Yeah, like I say, it's getting closer and closer, isn't it? And yeah, it's really massive. I just loved how you said it was minor. It's definitely not minor. It's massive.
I know. I was winding you up.
But yeah, excited and nervous at the same time. But yeah, bring it on.
Tell you what, we've been to more playoff finals and I've changed underwear, I'll tell you. So yeah, I know it's not my richest game in football, they claim, but talking about shitting through the eye of a needle, let's welcome Mike in. And I say that because, of course, Man United fan, but more importantly, he's a Newport fan. Good evening, Michael. How are you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. And it is minor. The League Two playoff final is bigger.
Did you get there?
No. That's why it's not elite this year. Normally, when we're in there, it's above everything else. But no, thanks for getting me on. I'm good. Hope Ryan is nervous, and hope you are as well, Chris.
What am I nervous about? I mean, if Forest come up at 6 points, And if they don't come up, it's just a season-long joke we can play on Nottingham Forest. So, yeah, I'm not nervous at all. But I will, like I said before the show, I do know where Ryan lives. And I do have a certain set of skills that will scare people like you. And I will find you. And I will...
You better win, Ryan.
You're best aware.
No, you'd never know that Taken is one of my favourite films, would you? But let us. I'm just right. Let's have a look what I'm doing here. Right, let's bring in first of all the top of the League One, who are obviously coming up. And obviously, Ryan, if you don't go up, you'll be playing these next season. First of all, Sunderland back in the Championship. It's been a while. They've got a new young owner. Are we pleased to see them back?
It's 4 years since they've been away. They've been playoff. I think they've lost the last 2 times they've been in the playoffs. So they're a team that deserve to be in Championship, and probably even higher than the Championship, based off their, how big they are. They're massive for this league, and they're probably quite big for the Championship as well, to be honest. So it's good to see them finally get over the line, and they absolutely obliterated Wycombe in that final. I know it was only 2-0, but my goodness, the amount of goals they could have had, and to take 40-odd thousand fans to Wembley for a League One club is ridiculous.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I have no sympathy for Wycombe whatsoever from past exploits of them with us. But Ryan, I mean, no matter how big Sunderland are, then they've always got that sort of Newcastle looking over the shoulder, haven't they? And it's been a while since, obviously Newcastle aren't going to go down to meet them anytime soon. Can they make a good go of it in the Championship?
Yeah, I think obviously it's always, like I say, it's a big jump. Like I said, they've struggled to kind of get out of League One for a number of years now. It's going to be tough. I think they know that, and I think they recognise that. And obviously, the recruitment side of things, they'll definitely have to get it right to have a chance of staying up. But yeah, I think they can. I think they can give it a good go. I really can. And I do stay. I do see them stay. I think it's just about staying up next season for Sunderland. I think maybe that's But it's the reality, isn't it? It doesn't matter how big the football club is. First and foremost, the first season back in the Championship, you just want to survive first of all. But doesn't mean they can't be ambitious, of course. And like I say, maybe they'll want to be finishing higher than that. But yeah, we'll have to see.
Andrew there, obviously, big Leicester fan. Please, God, Huddersfield, hope you go up. We are joined by Vatsim. Come on, Forest. We want a local rival to smash. No, we don't. We'll come on to that later. But funny enough, the Leicester support is split over that. But we will come on to Forest later. And I haven't forgiven you for the FA Cup just yet. Mike, again, we've got obviously Wigan and Rotherham. I think Rotherham have been here before and gone straight back down again, have they not?
Yeah, this is basically like Norwich in the Premier League and the Championship. This is, I think, the last 7 seasons. It's been Champions League 1, Champions League 1, Champions League 1 for 7 seasons in a row. And obviously they're swapping with Barnsley, which Ryan will know quite funny enough that next season it'll be Barnsley coming up, Rotherham go down. Look, they done well to win on the final day. It was a tough game away at Gillingham. Gillingham were fighting for their lives. Rotherham were fighting for promotion, and they, MK Dons went away to Plymouth and won like 5-1 or 5-0, which they had to win and hope Rotherham dropped points. So yeah, Rotherham, they were patchy at times this season, but they were probably the second best team, and Wigan. The points tally probably doesn't do it justice. The draws they had were awful. They probably could have won the league by about 12 points with, those draws that they should have won. Dropped a lot of points to, I think they dropped points away at Burton and, lost to Crewe, I think it was. So a lot of teams that they should be beaten. So Wigan, Rotherham and Sunderland I'd probably argue more likely the best 3 have gone up.
I mean, I was actually speaking on the show last night with Julian Watts, ex-Leicester player. We're rating all the teams in the Premier League, and you don't want to watch it, Mike. And he's a big Rotherham fan because he's from around that area, and yeah, he was the same. You know, he said we should have gone up easily as champions. You know, but hey, that's football for you. Wigan, Ryan, we know they've been up in the Premier League in their history. Won the FA Cup. They've done a bit of a sort of a Blackburn or Leeds. They've dropped right down. Do you see them doing well? Do you see them possibly doing 2 in a row?
Yeah, like I said, I think obviously, Wigan, another club that obviously, like I say, I've been in the Premier League, won trophies, they like the FA Cup and things like that. So yeah, I do see them really compete in the Championship. I think, like I say, they've kind of, they kind of proved this season they're too good for League One. So yeah, I do see them doing well. I know they just got promoted, but yeah, I do. I think they'll be up there.
I'm just looking now at League One, and I mean, there's some big clubs that have been in there this season. You've got Sheffield Wednesday, you've had Sunderland and Wigan, you've got Bolton, you've got Portsmouth, you've got Ipswich Town. All these and Charlton. All these clubs at some point have been in the top division.
There's bigger in League Two as well, with the likes of Bradford, Swindon, Oldham. Obviously, they went down, but that's what I mean. Teams do fall, and it's nice to see Wigan and Sunderland finally getting back up. And it takes 2 spots away from, potentially seeing a few more join next season, maybe a Portsmouth or, an Ipswich or Charlton. Yeah. Just getting them all back in the Championship is what we kind of want, to be honest, to allow League One to be a bit more easier to get out of. Especially as a new
but then that wouldn't be fair, would it? Let's be honest.
No. It would not be fair whatsoever. No.
What are your chances of Newport coming up? Oh well, just thought every other club going bust.
Yeah. Probably.
Spencer says here, "Come on, Huddersfield, don't let us down." That's him. Best thing about Huddersfield when Leicester signed Worthington. I cannot disagree with that. That was the period when I started to follow Leicester, and it was a great team that was put together. Right, so let's just see one more comment here. He said he's got a soft spot for Wigan. My brother lives there. And I've got a soft spot for Newport County, but it's a swamp at the bottom of the garden. Anyway.
The FA Cup, Chris.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, couldn't resist it. Right, let us have a look, shall we, at the Championship table. You alluded to it before, Mike, I think, about Barnsley going down. I've got to say, and I am glad that Derby County didn't go out of business because, yes, they're rivals. Yes, I find it extremely funny that they've got relegated, but I wouldn't want to see any club be put out of business because we've been there ourselves. It is not a good feeling. But I'll come to you first round with this one. You've got to give credit to Wayne Rooney. I mean, how many points were they docked? And technically, they still had a chance of staying up.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, I've got nothing but kind of admiration for Derby, to be honest with you, because, like I said, the situation they was in, the job that Wayne Rooney, has done, this season, he's done the best he possibly could with the situation, obviously with the points deduction, like you say. So yeah, they've really given it a thought, they really have, and it's such a shame, obviously, them having the points deduction, but yeah, Wayne Rooney, what a guy, what a manager, and yeah, I can see him really, obviously keep staying with Derby and trying to get them back up, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and Mike, I mean, with Wayne Rooney staying on that situation, he allegedly turned down Everton. That was a big decision for him because when people take these jobs, like with Frank Lampard when he went to Chelsea, they don't come along all that often. And I think for him to turn his boyhood club down, and when they're in the Premier League, to stick with Derby, and I know we've got the old Rooney Vardy court cases going on at the moment, but you've got to admire the guy, haven't you? Really?
Yeah, it just shows his charisma, doesn't it? That he doesn't want to step away from an unfinished job or unfinished business. And he actually did. He did get contacted by Everton, even though some people say that he didn't. Of course, he did. He said basically, "I've got a job to do here." and without that points deduction, they finish 18th above Cardiff. So, I mean, you look at that and it's like, well, you take that away and we're comfortably safe by like 12 points or whatever it is. Yeah. So it is obviously disappointing that has happened to send them down. But the job for Rooney was a win-win, because if Derby go down, well, then, you could say, well, look at what I had to deal with. Players were leaving, 21 points deducted. And if he keeps them up, I think he deserves the keys to the city.
Yeah,
the keys to Derby. Yeah, so it's an excellent job, and you have to applaud him. I applaud him even more for turning that Everton job down.
Yes, yeah. Anthony, good evening. How are you? Big up Chris. Would Dan be on this stream soon? Well, we are actually going to be doing one next season, aren't we, Mike? A regular championship one, and he may well make an appearance. Who knows? There's nothing like kicking a fan when they're down. I did actually, in fairness, it was only about 5 minutes after the final whistle, but I did message him and say, I'm doing this, do you want to come on, so you know who you're playing next season? And I think the second word was off. I didn't quite catch the first word, but bless him, Dan. We've all been we know what it's like. We've all suffered relegations. Ryan, I mean, Barnsley, we see them there. They look like they deserve to be bottom. 46 played, only 6 wins.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been absolutely, terrible this season. They realize, obviously, the recruitment as well, changing the manager. I mean, changing the manager to somebody that, nobody had heard. You've got to get experience in, for me. And yeah, they've been poor. And to be honest with you, they deserve to be relegated, and kind of, they didn't really show the fact that maybe someone like Derby have done either this season. They just kind of went down with a bit of a whimper, to be honest with you.
Yes, yeah, you can see that. Anthony is giving up bigs to Bristol Rovers. I think that's what I read anyway. Bristol, didn't they win 7-0 or something on the last day?
Rovers, that was, yeah.
Yeah. Mike, Peterborough. I have a laugh at Peterborough, because it's Adrian Durham's team on Talk Sport, and whenever he's having to go at a Premier League team, I always think of him supporting Peterborough. And B, obviously, they're only just down the road from Leicester. But they're a bit of a yo-yo team, aren't they?
Yeah, they came into the Championship with some aspirations, of stabilising in the Championship and just keeping themselves in there, like teams like Blackpool, Coventry have done. Yeah. It just the team was just not good enough defensively. Absolutely woeful. I think they could see. Yeah, it says it on there. 87 goals. It's the defense was awful. The front line was okay. They were popping in with the odd goal here. I think they drew 3-3 with Derby early on in the season. But yeah, you can see why they've gone down, and obviously Reading were 4 points above them, but Reading had a points deduction, so they could have actually ended the season like a lot more adrift of Reading, because Reading had like 5 or 6 points deducted. But Peterborough, I think they'll struggle next season in League One. I think obviously you don't get parachute payment from the Championship down to League One.
Well, you can read them out. There's the well, obviously you don't. I didn't realise Reading had been deducted points. Reading have left at letting 87 goals as well, but they've managed to score a few more. Ryan, you live this league week after week after week. Yeah. Worst 3 teams gone down?
Yeah, like I said, I don't think Derby, like I said, the situation they were in, they kind of was in there because of the situation. So I don't think Derby, should have been there. Had this situation off the field be better. But to be honest with you, I think that Reading should find themselves lucky, because I think that next season, if they don't kind of get the kind of decisions off the field, correct in the summer, I think they won't be so lucky next season. I think they'll go down
Cyber Leader, welcome along. Thanks for joining us. I mean, there's some big names down there, Ryan. You got Reading, Birmingham, Hull, Cardiff, some team from the Bristol area. I don't know who that is. But I mean, and Blackpool, Stoke. There's a lot of teams there that I say again not so long have been in the Premier League. I mean, looking at it, and let's just see where I can where we can get this up to. So we're looking at sort of the Blackpool downwards, really. Any surprise? Any teams that you see in that from 16th down to 24th, apart from obviously Derby and Reading, because they had points deducted, but any teams there that you are surprised that you've played this season and you think, yeah, they should be doing better?
To be honest with you, it seems like Birmingham, they're a big club, but they seem to always finish around the area, for a few years. They don't seem to be doing much. Obviously, they've got problems off the field, to be fair to them as well, Birmingham. But Hull, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not really surprised that them teams are kind of there because, when we kind of played them, it didn't really feel like there was any ambition with any of these clubs, and they just lacked the quality. They really did. No surprise for me.
Yeah, and we've got to talk about it just because he's in the chat. Bristol City, Mike. Obviously, next Leicester manager there. I'm surprised they're that high. Do you think they've had a good season?
I'd actually say they've had a bad season, to be honest, because I've always, in the last 5 or 6 years, Bristol City have been trying to push on towards the playoffs. They obviously had that League Cup semi-final run where they beat Man United at the quarters, lost to Man City on aggregate, could have made it to Wembley. I think they actually took the lead at the Etihad as well in that semi-final, which was crazy. And normally you see Bristol City have a lot of influx of young players. Antoine Semenyo is unreal, and they sort of let their players go out on loan, give them a season in League One, get them back in the Championship, and they've always seemed to be quick in terms of redeveloping players to push them on, develop them, bring them back into the first team. So I always see Bristol City as a team that are going to be pushing on for the playoffs, but with the way their season went this year, they were very inconsistent. So being down there this season, I would agree with. But, it's difficult to say because for some reason, I think it's just because they loan half of their academy players to us that I just expect them to be up chasing the playoffs in the Championship. But considering how bad they were at times, 17th, they could have been a lot worse. Let's just say that for Bristol City.
Yeah. Ryan, I want to talk Blackpool with you for a minute because I lived in Blackpool for a bit and I remember when I first went there from Leicester, and I went along, and we were at Filbert Street at the time, so it wasn't the best ground in the land, but I went there and I wiped my feet on the way out. I know they've sort of upgraded since then, but they've had their troubles. Are they still sort of, owned by the Oystons, and do you know, or?
I'm not in time. I don't think they're there anymore, are they? Because I know obviously there were a lot of trouble, weren't they, when they were in.
They kicked them out. The fans got them out.
Did they? Right. Yeah. No, I remember an evening with Owen Oyston. Let's just leave it at that, shall we? But moving up. I was drunk, and we were. No. Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. So moving up from Blackpool, Swansea. I've got to come to. I have to come to Mike on this one, don't I? Swansea, your second favourite team. I know they're not really. Ex Premier League. Kind of mid-table security, really, isn't it? It's just sort of all those teams around there, sort of just a bit like, Yeah, well, you say second favourite team. It's the we hate Cardiff City derby between us and Swansea, because we both can't stand them. But no, I don't know whether there's a tint of bias here, but I think Swansea have been very good this season. Russell Martin has obviously come in and completely changed the way they've played. Obviously, they were managed by Steve Cooper 2 years prior, and Steve Cooper got them to the playoff semi-final, followed up the season after with a playoff final. Very, very good manager, Steve Cooper. 3 playoffs in the last 3 years as a Championship manager, which is unreal. And Swansea have had to adapt from playing boring football, let's say, under Steve Cooper to this 70% possession, completely dominate teams under Russell Martin. Obviously, Joel Pirro has been fantastic this season, scored 23 goals, I think. And they've got a lot of players who
are going to be hungry to play next season. And I do think they'll be up there next season in terms of playoffs. I've said they'll finish fourth. I said they'll miss out on automatics by a few points. I can see where Swansea are going. And towards the end of the season, it was basically like, well, we're not going to sort of get playoffs. We're not going to get relegated. So they sort of played it a lot lower tempo to save themselves for the summer and to refresh the team. But yeah, considering everything that's gone on with obviously a few players leaving and Andre Ayew left, obviously, which is a massive blow for them. Obviously went to Saudi. So considering all of that and a new manager, I think Russell Martin only came in as well with like 2 days before the new season. So he didn't even have any pre-season with them. So yeah, that's a very good season from Swansea to finish 15th.
All we need to do is get Newport up to the Championship, and it'd be a bigger a bigger league than the League of Wales or whatever it's called. But
the Welsh Premier League, yeah.
Do they have a Premier League in Wales? Do they?
Yeah, but a team in England keeps winning it. TNS, they're from Shropshire.
Well, we've got 3 of you lot in ours. You can take one of our lots into yours.
Yeah.
Looking at the next ones, I mean, you've played all these teams, Ryan, obviously. So looking up as far as Middlesbrough, I mean, they just missed out. It was 5 points in the end. And you got Blackburn, which is going to be obviously a great derby for Dan next season. Millwall, which, let's face it, we all just hope they just go down as far as they can do. And Coventry, I was getting a bit worried earlier on in the season because I thought Coventry might end up there with Nottingham Forest. I would not have wanted that at all. Which of those teams do you see sort of being a threat for, that can maybe make that push on and go for sort of, playoffs or promotion next season?
Yeah, I certainly think, obviously, Middlesbrough. I think Middlesbrough have impressed me this season, to be honest with you, under Chris Wilder, fantastic manager. They've played some fantastic football, to be honest with you. And, they only just came up short. Like I said, there was kind of a sneaky feeling they may just kind of sneak into the playoffs, at one point. But, they didn't manage it. But, it was always going to be tough, that. But, yeah, Middlesbrough, Blackburn, I can see definitely pushing on next season. I really do. Another big kind of club, that have been in the Premier League as well. West Brom, I mean, they shouldn't be as low as that. They really shouldn't. I just think it's staggering. But can I see them kind of pushing next? I'm not so sure because, I just don't see. I mean, they've got it just depends what happens in the summer, to be honest with you. Coventry had a fantastic season. Now, whether they can make that step, a bit, up, I'm not so sure. Because obviously, like you say, at the start, they had such a fantastic start to the season, and you were thinking to yourself, wow, they could actually get into these playoffs at one point. But also they kind of faded away. But yeah, so yeah, it's a tough one. It really is a tough one. But I can see, definitely Middlesbrough and Blackburn for sure being right up there next season.
I'm just letting Daniel know that everybody is asking after him because Geordie says should have had Dan on so he can see to see the ins and outs of the Championship. Anthony, you're just being very, very provocative with that one, and we will leave that. Have West Brom still got Steve Bruce as the manager?
Yes,
they have, and I think that's what will hold them back. By the way, because in all due respect, Steve Bruce is such a negative manager. That's where they just so that I don't see them go. I think they should get rid of Steve Bruce, in my opinion. No disrespect, Steve Bruce, by the way. I just don't really rate you as a manager. I think you're very negative and not as. He's not ambitious. He's not. You don't. His style of football is awful to watch as well. By the way,
you didn't hide that well, Ryan.
I know. I just think West Brom need to really push forward, and it's not with Steve Bruce. I don't understand, but anyway,
that is. I mean, some. I don't think there's any other business where, as a manager of a company or a team or whatever, you can do really, really badly and then just walk into another job. Who was there before Steve Bruce?
Vladimir Ishmael, or however you say it, the one that was at Barnsley when they got to the playoffs.
Anthony, I think I'm going to have to share this. He's going to wind you up. I can't possibly comment, Anthony.
No, you can't, Chris, because we beat you.
Oh, yeah, I was being nice. And you had to stick the dagger in there. Well, yes, they are shit, Anthony. They are totally and utterly shit. Just to say, I sent Dan a message. I said, everybody is asking after you. He went, who, what, where? I said, on my championship review. And he just went, bastards.
Where are you, Dan?
I'll send him an invitation to see if he wants to come on. I don't know if he will or not. I mean, yeah, we've all been there, though, like we said before. Coventry and Preston. I mean, Coventry have come back up, Mike, from League One, and they gave it a pretty good shot, didn't they?
Yeah, Matt Robbins, probably one of the best ex-Man United players in management at the moment, to be honest. He had a...
Excuse me. Ex-Leicester City player, if you don't mind.
All right.
Carry on.
It's your show, Chris. It's your show.
I'm not going to fight you over Mark Robbins. I just want to
please, let's not do that.
You know.
Fighting over Mark Robbins. But no, a very good team. Callum O'Hare is absolutely fantastic, unbelievable footballer. At Coventry, Victor Gyökeres as well was bouncing around the Championship. Swansea, someone else I think as well, which I can't remember. Blackpool, I think it was. I think Ryan will. I think it was Blackpool that he was at. Couldn't score a goal for love nor money. Comes to Coventry and he seems like a proven Championship goal scorer and seems to score pivotal goals for Coventry. But you can see it on the table there, guys. The thing that let them down was that the amount of draws that they had, not being able to finish off games, not being able to put teams to the sword, and then them, sort of hitting you back. And I saw a lot of times where they were 2-1 up and they just couldn't get that third goal, and then the team goes up the other end of the pitch and levels up at 2 apiece, and you're walking away thinking that game should have been a 3-1 win, and yet it's a 2-2 draw. Yeah. So a very good season for Coventry, like you said. I don't know as though if they'll push up. I think between 10th and 12th is probably their ceiling, unless obviously they have some massive change in terms of recruitment. But Robbins, the ex-Leicester City and Man United player, is definitely the right man for the job at Cov. And obviously they ended with a very iffy end to the season when they knew, like Swansea, like I said with you with Swansea, when they knew they weren't going to go down or get playoffs, it was like, well, we don't have nothing to fight for now. It's all about just placings, whether we're going to finish one place higher.
Fairness to Swansea, they've been, they've been locked out of the ground. They had to ground share for a season, so they've had their problems as well.
Coventry,
yeah. Who did I say?
Swansea.
Sorry, Coventry.
Coventry.
Sorry,
yeah.
Coventry. It's hard for me to say that word without choking. Ryan, Preston, I want to touch on as well. Paul Gallagher, is he still there?
I'm not so sure. I'm not actually sure if I'm honest.
It must be about 90, but I know every time I sort of see him, he seems to be still playing for them. Again, ex-Leicester.
First team coach.
First team coach is in there.
Yeah.
You Googled quicker than I did.
I actually couldn't remember.
Preston, I mean, they're a team. I mean, they were there right at the beginning of the football. They've never quite got into the Premiership. They've made the playoffs a few times and lost the playoffs. Can you see them making a run for it next season?
No.
I can't.
No.
I really can't. I think they're just there in the Champions. They're never going to go. I don't feel like they're ever going to kind of get relegated, but I don't think they're ever going to be in that, that promotion push either. So it's a bit, moment. Yeah.
They'll be stuck there.
Ant's just joined us here. Evening Madison is ploughing Southgate's daughter. It's the only explanation. That is a gardening term, obviously, and I really don't know what it refers to. But we have got Dan joining us in a minute. He's just gone off to have a wee, which probably means he's found a corner of the house.
Yeah, just to say he's found the corner.
Yeah.
I think Burnley can score from this season.
But let's go up now. Top 6. Ryan, this is your area, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously. I was torn, and I just don't want Forest to come up. I'm going to be honest with you. I've never hidden that point. The local rivals, I'd sooner see them crash and burn. Sheffield United, they've done it. They've had their chance, and they've come back down. So in fairness, and I'm being honest now, so in fairness of Huddersfield, I did want to see Luton come up because they hadn't done it yet. But in fairness, they didn't get past you. You beat them. And obviously now I want you to come up. What are your chances? You've played them obviously twice this season already.
Yeah. So like I said, we beat them. We beat them already at their ground as well, by the way.
Right.
So yeah, you know what? I really do fancy our chances, and why not? Because obviously, finishing third, it's just remarkable. The job that Carlos has done. The recruitment as well really set the foundations in the summer. It really did. We kind of got our business done very early. Carlos had a full pre-season. Obviously Carlos came in kind of midway through kind of last season. And yeah, he's done absolutely fantastic. He's just got better and better. And the way we're playing now is such a joy to watch. We've kind of had to endure a few bad years, at the club. Really, if I'm honest with you, I think it's been really tough to watch at times. He's just been awful. But yeah, the way he's turned the tide this season, obviously finishing 20th last season. And that massive jump up to third as well. We've got performers in there that we've hardly spent any money this season. We haven't, and that's the reality. But I come back to it. We've got that togetherness, that team spirit. Every single player on that football pitch, will give absolutely everything, and they want to be at Huddersfield Town because we've kind of when we got to the Premier League, the recruitment side of that kind of we kind of got players and they didn't really want to be at the club. They just went there for Premier League football kind of thing. So, and then obviously it took years kind of to get rid of the players, in kind of stages, if you could say so. But now we've got a group that we can be really proud of. You know what? No matter what happens on Sunday, I'm so proud of this group. And yeah, but I just think that it'll be heartbreaking to not go up now because we've had an absolutely incredible season. Like I say, it's kind of a fairy tale, to be honest with you. And yeah, we just want to finish the job off because I'm not being biased. I just feel like we deserve it. We really do.
Well, if you can't be biased, who can? Anthony says Nottingham Forest will be playing Leicester next season. Well, if they do come up, Anthony, they could have you first game. And what do promoted teams usually do against Arsenal in their first game in the Premier League? Oh, yes, they stuff you. So you've got that to look forward to, Anthony. Sorry, did I say that out loud? Was it? And didn't Forest put you out of the cup before they put us out of the cup? I'm not sure, but I tell you what, Dan must be trying to fill that bloody toilet. He's still there. Mike. And we'll come back to Huddersfield in a second. Mike, talk Nottingham Forest to me. I mean, we've got to talk about them. They have turned it around. They have gone almost Leeds-like from, when they had Brian Clough there. And they probably held on to Brian Clough too long, And I think once he lost Peter Taylor, it's a bit like Martin O'Neill, without John Robertson. Managers are sometimes great as a partnership, but when they're on their own, they're not quite so good. And we all know how it ended with Nottingham Forest. I mean, Brian Clough, don't get me wrong, fantastic manager. Let's be easy. You could sit and listen to him talk football all night. But he hadn't got it at the end. They fell right down to the third tier. I think they're the first team that's won the European Cup in any form that's actually got down to the third tier. And like Leeds, it took them a while to bounce back. I hate to say the fact that Leicester were one of the teams that did it at the first attempt, but we did. Just thought I'd get that in. They're gonna, they could end up back in the Premier League. They've got a great manager there, haven't they, Mike?
Yeah, like I said earlier when talking about Swansea, Steve Cooper got to the semi-finals 2 seasons ago, lost to Brentford in the semi-finals, got to the final last season, lost to Brentford, both with Swansea. I think Steve Cooper's lucky that Brentford are in the Premier League, that he hasn't got to come up with against them in the playoffs in the Championship. But no, an excellent record. As soon as he came into Forest, I said, I actually did call it earlier. As soon as he went to Forest, I went promotion or playoffs. I went, they're going to get either. He is just unbelievable. And obviously he's took Alan Tate with him, who was at Swansea with him as defensive coach, and defensively they've looked excellent. And not just that. I mean, you look at the squad that they have. Bryce Samba is probably one of the Championship's best goalkeepers behind Nichols, I'd probably say. And then you look at their backline, they've got Jed Spence, they've got Steve Cook, obviously, ex-Bournemouth players, very, very experienced. And then obviously into the midfield, James Garner, unknown from Man United, is excellent. They've got obviously Brennan Johnson, who for me has to start for Wales in our World Cup playoff game. They've got obviously some options like Lolly, Zinkernagel, obviously Jack Colback. It's a team that's very much...
You can't lick him, can you? He's
oh, goodness gracious.
Well, like I just say, look, Geordie, Tune for Life, should have Dan on here so he can see the ins and outs of the Championship. Anthony, I think earlier on, let's just have a look if I can find it. Yeah, big up, Chris. Would Dan be on this stream soon? Lol. You've been calling for him, and let me know. Never let it be said that I do not do what the public want. Here he is, and welcoming him to the Championship. Daniel, by God, sir, that was a long piss. Did you try and fill the bowl or what?
No, I tried to send the kids upstairs. Then they started arguing and kicking the shit out of each other. So yeah.
Either that or you were mopping up the corner. We're not sure which.
Put it one way, it's not pee, it's tears from this weekend.
Well, true. We're going to come on to yourself and the other two teams that have come down in a second. But just finishing off with the playoff here. Mike, can you see Huddersfield doing this against Forest, or do you think it is going to be a Forest win? I mean, they have done, like Ryan said, they have done them over a couple of times this season.
One-off game. I think Forest have got their number. Unfortunately, the squad that Forest have, the players off the bench that they have, and the overall feel. They've, like I said, Steve Cooper is. I know he's not actually progressed out of the playoffs yet in his previous 2 attempts, but I think this is the one. I think you saw that sort of togetherness at the City Ground when they got past Sheffield United. Obviously, take the ugly scenes away from it. Just the relief of finally getting sort of to a playoff final and to be 1 game away from the Premier League, where they feel they belong. Obviously, I know that could be argued, but they feel that they belong back there. And I think they've got a squad worthy of going in there. And also they've got a few loanees that, if they do get promoted, I think will either be signed permanently or, given another loan there. I think they win this. I think it'll be a tight game. I think they 2-1. I think it'll be done in 90 minutes as well. I think this is too big.
Ryan, and see, that's what gets me. I'm not having a go at Mikey, but that's what gets me about Forest. And you have totally 100% hit the nail on the head. That they will have that attitude that we are where we belong. No, they're not. You're not where you belong. You belong where your position in the football, pyramid puts you. See, I didn't find that with Leeds fans. I didn't find that with Huddersfield's fans or even Burnley. When Leeds came up, they had every right to say we're where we where we belong. But no, you're not. And I really, really hope you just go out there and stuff them, please. Can you? I mean, Mike's gone for 2-1. You Huddersfield, if only for the decent fans. What score do you think you'll get? Do you think it'll be extra time or penalties?
Yeah, no, I'm the same as Matt. I think it's going to be settled in normal time. But I'm actually going. I'm going to back my team, because why not? I have
Go
to
on, Ryan.
I have to. I believe in this group. I believe in every single player that's on that pitch, and I believe in Carlos and everything. I just do. So I'm going actually the other way, and I'm going to go 2-1 to Huddersfield. I really do believe we'll get the edge.
Dan, I mean, you're neutral in this at the moment. Who do you see? Not who you would like, but who do you see? I mean, I am totally and utterly biased. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not one of those that says, "Come on up, Forest, so we can have some local derbies again. Won't it be great?" No, it fucking won't. Stay down there where you belong. So I am biased. As a neutral, which way do you see this one going?
I see Huddersfield in a way a bit like following a trend like Burnley have done, where they've always been sort of the underdog. They've always not been, they've always been written off by everybody before they've even kicked a ball. Even though they finished third in the table, everyone's speaking about Forest and the job that they've got to do. If anything, this is one of those games where all the pressure is on Notts Forest to get back to the Premier League. And Huddersfield can just go into that game, clear mindset, and just think, you know what? We'll just play this game like we have done any other championship game this season, and what will be, will be. And that, for me, is why I think Huddersfield will do it on the day. And, I think Huddersfield it's going to be one of them scrappy championship playoff final days where it's just the odd 1-0 win. But, as I say, I think it'll be Huddersfield. And I'll even say Sober Thomas grabs it.
Nice one. Love it.
I'm just looking. I don't know how up to date this is, but they beat you in the FA Cup, did they not?
Yeah, they did, but we fielded a very weak. We fielded a lot of our youngsters in our kind of second team. So they did, but we didn't have a full strength side. And to be honest with you, I don't know if it's about what happens on Sunday. It doesn't really matter what's happening in the league to me. It's about this one game, and it comes down to one game. But
nice of you to bring up Huddersfield beating teams in cup competitions, Chris. Thanks. That's another naff through the art. Cheers.
Hey, I've had to put up with talk about Forest that beat us. Mate, you can take your share as well. Anthony says, "Big up, Dan. Welcome to the championship. It's not that bad, but it's hard league to get out of." Doug, welcome along. Whoever wins this game will get automatic promotion next season.
Disagree.
I think Tottenham are all getting behind Forest because, of course, every time Tottenham say what a big team they are, they don't like it when I actually point out to them that Huddersfield have actually won the top league, whatever it's been called at the time. They've won it more times than Tottenham. So maybe Tottenham are getting a little bit nervous for you, Ryan.
Yeah, maybe. So, but like you said, Dan, though, about the under the radar, we've gone under the radar so many times. People writing us off, but we like it like that. We won't have it any other way because we go into games and we just go out and just prove people wrong, and that's what we love to do. So I don't take any notice of what anybody's saying on social media or anything. I'm focused on this game, and I'm focused on our team and what our qualities are, and I believe that we can do it. So that's it. But yeah.
Hi, Doug. How are you? Welcome along. Whoever loses this game will get automatic next season. I want to look. I mean, I know Leicester have had a bit of a reputation back in the 70s, whatever, you've been a yo-yo team. And I know we have won the second tier, whatever it's been called, more times than any other jointly with Man City. When we've come up, yes, we have only stayed up a season and we've gone straight back down, but it's very, very rare. I think only 1 or 2 occasions have we actually managed to come straight back up again. So we know we know our place. So if we get relegated, we stay down and stay quiet a little bit. Burnley, I mean, Huddersfield, when you came up, you stayed up for a season. Burnley, you came up, you were up for 4 or 5 seasons, went down, came back up, and again we're up for another 2 or 3 seasons. I'll come to you with this one, Dan. Can you see Fulham or Bournemouth, when they came up, in fairness, were up for sort of 6 odd season. Do you see these 2 teams doing a Norwich and a Watford, or do you see them, either of them, being able to sort of make the mark in the Premier League?
it's strange to say. We've seen it a few times with Fulham and, in particular, Mitrovic. Okay, he's absolutely ripped up the Championship this season. He's tore the Championship up. But every time Fulham get to the Premier League, Mitrovic just becomes an absolute flop. Yeah. And I'm not saying that he's not going to, that he is going to this time, because we all know he might not. If that vein of form continues, it's just a lot more difficult in the Premier League. Bournemouth, I think they've got to spend very wisely on who they bring in for them to stay up. I can just see them yo-yoing. Personally, I can see them yo-yoing. I think the team in the playoffs, whoever wins the playoffs, always likes to give it a good go because they've come up the hard way. They know they've had to go that extra mile to get there. So they always seem to put up a bit more fat. Don't quote me on it, but it wouldn't surprise me if Marco Silva's probably one of the first managers to lose his job in the Premier League next season.
I will quote you on it. I'll write it down as we speak.
When Fulham win the Premier League.
That's him. I don't understand. I thought you were a Forest fan, Tim. I don't think necessarily you are. But you're in favour of a small club coming into the Prem, but you don't want Forest. Ka-ching! that is a good one. I mean, Mike, you've got 3 teams coming up here. Or sorry, 2 definitely and 1 possibly. In Fulham, Bournemouth, and Huddersfield that have all done it before. Been there, seen it, got the T-shirt, as they say. They should know how this works now, and this is what gets me with the likes of Norwich and Watford. When they've come up, they've done it before. They know what needs to be done, and they haven't. They've just gone straight back down again. So surely these 3 teams should have a good chance of staying up.
Yeah, just to touch on Mitro, I know obviously a lot of people have been saying it that he's going to be a flop when he gets to the Premier League. I'll agree that previous seasons in the Championship he's ripped it up, but he's not scored 43 goals in 46 games previously. I think that vein of form that Dan alluded to is just ridiculous. 43 goals in the Championship is insane. So I think there will be a bit more of a confidence this time because he's just absolutely smashed the goal scoring record. So he may be thinking, right, if I can, score, 10, 15 in the Premier League and, really boost his, because he's still actually quite young, which is quite crazy. And he wants to sort of boost his reputation back up. Fulham, we've seen them before when they spent 100 million when they came up, went straight back down. Bournemouth, Huddersfield have different type of models where they'll find hungry players that want to work. Obviously, Ryan alluded to the players that came to Huddersfield just for Premiership football, which is ridiculous. But I think all 3, I don't know whether it's me being deluded, but I think Fulham, Bournemouth, then Huddersfield or Forest could all stay up if they, put the right mindset. And I think that's what Chris was sort of edging towards, that teams don't have the right mindset when coming up. You've got to spend, I would rather spend £50 million on 3 or 4 players to add to your promotion winning squad than revamping 11 players who may not cut it. And don't forget, you could buy 11 good players for the Premier League. What's the chance that they're all going to sort of gel and get on? They might be 11 different sort of personalities. There might be 5 big, this is who I am sort of thing. You can't tell me what to do. And 2, quiet players in the dressing room. So you've got to get the right mix.
I mean, very, very true, and Ryan, and I'm not going to dig at you here, right? But we know having the good players. Man United have got a team of absolute stars, but they're individuals. When Leicester City did what they did, they were a team of rejects, free transfers. It's about buying the right players, isn't it? It's not about just going out and saying, "Oh, this guy, he's good, we'll buy him," because you can spend a fortune on a star name and him just not be able to do it. Or the other thing he can do is obviously totally and utterly ruin the atmosphere in the dressing room.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to find that balance, don't you? I think you can't. You hit the nail on the head, really. To be honest with you, but yeah, like I said, I think obviously if we do kind of make the step up, we've learned a lot from that first kind of spell that we had. But yeah, you have to get hungry individuals in, and just because kind of a player costs that amount of money doesn't mean it's going to work, like you say. So you just have to get the right players in for your football club. But obviously, that's kind of
Yeah. Vaccine flyer. Apparently, you are Terry Fuller. I don't get the vaccine flyer. It must mean something. But welcome if you are Terry. Welcome along, sir. As long as you don't wear your underpants on the outside. On that. And the missus is in, Dan. Up the clarets, Daniel. Let's have a look at the teams that came down as well. In fairness. I'm sorry, Daniel, but I mean, it said today on I was looking at one channel, I think it was the West Ham channel, that Cornet, I think you quoted yourself, in fact, Cornet has got a buyout clause if you get relegated. I mean, you're already losing Tarkowski. There's probably one of your best players. The clubs do come sniffing round when you get relegated, and again, I know this when Leicester went down and we came straight back up, we were able to hold on to all our players. Will Burnley be able to hold on to the players?
I think it sort of all depends on what the players want as well. Does Maxwell Cornet want to become a legend? We've seen Bruno Guimaraes at Newcastle come out and say, I might be linked with all these other clubs, but I want to be a legend at Newcastle. And you know, we need sometimes you need that sort of mentality from a player. I think we'll get that from someone like Weghorst, who I think next season, with a good pre-season under his belt in the Championship, could well be pretty shit up for us. But someone like Cornet will lose. You can't keep hold of your flair players like that. It'll be a case of Lingard will go on a free to all the people sniffing, and whoever don't get him will go sniffing for someone like Cornet because they're the cheap release clause. 17.5 million. This day and age in the Premier League is pocket money, and he'll end up going to somebody decent in the Premier League. If not,
I think the guy at West Ham, it was on Forward from Iron that he said, and he may well have got it wrong, that it was an £8 million release clause.
Well, from what we've seen is it's 17.5, but I think 8 million of that goes to Lyon.
Oh, right, okay.
Or something. I'm not sure. There's something structured in the deal, but the way that's well, obviously we know we've got some financial stuff we need to sort out now. We're going to lose the big players. Pope will probably go. Phil Bardsley's missus, Tanya, she's released the information that Phil Bardsley's not renewing his contract. So he's obviously leaving as well. I expect Ben Mee to probably sign a new deal in the next couple of weeks. I suppose his contract in a way as well hang on the balance of a new manager, which from what we're hearing could be there could be an appointment by the end of next week. So fingers crossed.
That Ben Mee's going to sign a contract that says he's got to have the say in who the next manager is? Or is that just happening?
For me, I said it would be the most Burnleyest thing to do to offer him a player coach deal. Because obviously he's back end of 30 anyway.
Yeah.
But then when you start getting these player coach deals and a manager comes in, they're thinking, right, well, if you're a player coach, you're nigh on the end of your career and you're not going to get much game time, which I don't think he'll want. And he'll snub that. But we'll see what happens. There's a lot of changes about to be done. Going back to what you said there, people need to come up and they need to spend a minimum of 50 million and stuff like that. You know, what Burnley did was got promoted and bought a tub of Dulux paint and started painting all the wooden seats claret. That were about it.
Yes.
So, you know, we've kept the same squad since. So that's bit us in the arse because we've never evolved from that.
No.
So yeah,
now has said here we'll give you another 25 million to take Wood back.
Well, we're still
you take him. You take Perez back first, Geordie. You take
we're still on 12.5 million of that 25 and all.
Moving on to Ryan, I want to talk to you about Watford. Probably going to be the first, or possibly now the second Championship club to go vegan. I mean, they've got everybody's backs up straight away with that appointment and how not the appointment, but how they went about it.
Yeah, I think they showed a real lack of disrespect, really, didn't they? I think, and it kind of sums up really how I've kind of spoken openly about this, how the football clubs run anyway, because, Watford, the model there is you don't give managers time. If they don't do anything within the first few games, you're out the door kind of thing. that's not the way football clubs should really work. It shouldn't. And like I say, this guy from Forest Green, he's going to struggle, I think. And I think that like I say, the way they handled the situation as well, it was very poor, wasn't it? It's not very professional, and you just don't do it. It doesn't look good on your football club. But like I say, it pretty much sums up how the clubs run anyway. In all things, like I said earlier. But
it don't look good on him though, as well, though, does it, Ryan? Really, because he's got Forest Green Rovers promoted. Could have been seen as gone with the well wishes. He's moved on to Watford. You've been a great for us. But the way it's happened and the way that Watford have sort of gone, sod the EFL, we'll poach you the way we want, and he's actually took the bait. Forest Green Rovers fans absolutely despise the bloke now.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a real shame as well. Because, like I say, what he's done for Forest Green is absolutely, remarkable. But he's kind of tarnished himself, hasn't he? And he won't be welcome back in Forest Green, kind of, again, kind of thing. So that's not nice. And like I say, so maybe he's kind of but like I say, when money's involved, that's what happens, isn't it? That unfortunately. I don't think he did it the right way either. But it's what happens in football, isn't it? Once you get offered that bigger deal, you can just go with it, don't you? And you just kind of forget about where you've kind of come from in a way. I think, but not good at all.
Mike, the third team that's come down, Norwich. I suppose the advantage they've got there is that they've got Dean Smith.
Yeah, and the advantage that you coming back to this show, congratulating them back to the Premier League as Championship winners, because that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to win the Championship. They've got Dean Smith in charge. They've got parachute payments. They've got players that they've sent out on loan this season, like Sinani, who's on loan at Huddersfield. Whether what happens with Huddersfield, I think they go up. They may try and get him, because obviously his goal in the playoff away at Luton was unreal as well. Proper Paul Gascoigne-esque. But no, I think they will be fine next season. It's starting to get on my nerves now, to be honest with you. I think there are rumours that the parachute payments may be stopped in the next few seasons, which is a blessing in disguise. Well, not disguise, because a lot of people just want it to happen now, how teams can just go down and come straight back up. The squad is Championship winning worthy. You've got Placetta, who's a good player. Obviously, their back line. I think Max Aarons will stay, controversially. It just seems like every time a move has tried to materialise for Max Aarons, you just can't get him out of Norwich for some reason. Obviously, Pukki is a proven goal scorer as well. I think they will be fine in the Championship, and I think they'll come straight back up as a shock, just in case anyone didn't think they would.
Yeah. I mean, let's stick with Ryan and then come on. Sorry, stick with Mike and then come on to Ryan. And don't ignore the fact that, the guy below you's got a Burnley shirt on. Any of the bottom three that you can actually see coming straight back up?
Yeah, Norwich. Norwich. Just Norwich.
Yeah. Ryan?
I think Watford and Burnley might struggle for a first season. Sorry, Dan.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Ryan?
I think, on kind of, the way Norwich kind of, definitely Norwich. But I disagree. I think that Burnley may actually be up there as well. I don't think Watford will. I really don't. I don't. That's the reality. But I do think that if Burnley kind of, get the decisions right off the field, get some players, obviously they're going to lose a few. I think they can have a real good go next season again. They regroup, get a new manager in, new ideas, and go again, and it can happen. So yeah, and I do hope it happens as well. I'm not saying it just because Dan's here, but I do like Burnley. I think they're a great club, and I do feel sorry for them the way it's ended. Because I was one of those that thought they'd stay up, and I kind of hope they'd stay up as well. So yeah, all the best to them. But yeah, definitely Norwich. But I can see Burnley as well, like I say. But yeah.
I've just looked in my wallet, Ryan. I know I said 20, but I've only got a 10. Is that all right?
But yeah, I think you would have needed you to pay him 50 if that was the case. Anthony says Bristol City to get promoted next season. I want to see a Bristol derby. That's what we should be having. And Charlie, Dan getting used to the Champo already. Fair play. Oh, Charlie. How did the Champions League go for you this season? Just
and the bus parade. It was like a queue in Morrison's, that Man City bus parade, wasn't it? Like 5 people there.
Jordy says, I want Burnley back up. Great fans, and I mean that 100%. I want Burnley back up because it's 6 points again, you know. So, I mean,
I've seen more people in the goal queue than I saw at Manchester City. Yeah.
That's why it was Dole Day. That's why there wasn't many people there. Or at the post office collecting the dole. You're going to have to do something, aren't you? Terry asked earlier, Dan, who do you know lined up for the job?
See, it's strange now because obviously if we'd have stayed up, I thought there'd have been at least 1 or 2 names that are linked that would have actually said, yes, I'll take it. Now that we've gone down, I'm like, are half of these people that have been rumoured or odds on with the bookies, are they going to be sort of, do I, don't I? I mean, the odds are, well, it's odds on that Vincent Kompany is going to take the job. He was linked with the Wolfsburg job, but they've just signed a new manager. So there's only one club rumoured to be interested in him.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it is Kompany, I don't know.
At the moment?
No, he's at Anderlecht.
Yeah.
So
he's at Anderlecht.
That's still an option for him to stay there, obviously.
Yeah, but he's been touted around between us and Wolfsburg. But as I say, Wolfsburg appointed somebody today, and Burnley's the only name really that he's got. I just don't know whether that's going to be the case. It's a good league to start in because he can play his trade there. We saw it with Lampard. We've seen it with Rooney. You know, why not do it? But
yeah.
I don't know. It makes it so much harder being relegated because he's now got to go in there, instill a new sense of optimism, a belief that we can go back to where we once were. You've got a massive job on your hand. That in the midst of massive changes at the club, that being financially and on the pitch. So I don't know who the new man will be. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for anyone, or I've sort of just, with the way this week's gone and this weekend, I'm like, I'll take what we can get, and however the season pans out, fuck it.
That's another good footballing term. Would you agree, Ryan, that out of the 3 clubs that have gone down, that it's probably Burnley's got the biggest? And I know they were the third ones to go down, and Norwich and Watford were already down. But would you say they've got the biggest rebuilding job?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I really would. I mean, obviously Watford as well potentially. You know, because like I say, but yeah, with Burnley. Yeah, in all due respect, I think Burnley do have the biggest job. But you know, it's likely, like you say about Kompany. I think there's 2 ways to look at this. I think he may thrive on that challenge of coming to Burnley and really proving a point, and really kickstarting his, his managerial kind of role. So. Yeah, I think he'd kind of thrive upon that, but yeah, I think Burnley is the biggest. But that doesn't mean that they can't get the things right off the field in the summer. And yeah, it's just about getting the decisions right and moving forward positively. And like I say, if you start the season, really well, next season, that starts to get that optimism back, and that'll help for sure. But yeah, we'll have to see.
Mike, I suppose the biggest job for whoever comes in as Burnley manager, first of all, it's got to be a decision that is made very, very quickly. I know we're in the off-season. We're not that far off the window opening, I don't believe. It's a decision that's got to be made very, very quickly.
It's one that's got to be made quickly and rightly as well, because if you start putting a manager in there that's had lack of experience, or B, can't handle big personalities, then you're going to go wrong, because that Burnley side, whatever, even if Cornet, Pope, Tarkowski, McNeil, if those leave, you've still got a very good Jack Cork in the midfield. You've still got Weghorst, who's playing for the Holland national team. You've got Charlie Taylor at left back. You've still got some, big players for the Championship, and obviously one of my own, Connor Roberts, at right back. So you've still got some, really experienced Premiership footballers for a new manager to come in and say, look, last season was bad. We got relegated. We go again, sort of thing. I hate that. We go again. But with Burnley, it's really fitting. I'd actually disagree that Burnley need the biggest rebuild. I think the biggest rebuild comes from Watford, to be honest, with Rob Edwards. He's got a total new system. He's different to any of the previous managers Watford have had in terms of his style of football. But for Burnley, it's just about the right man, the right time. And obviously, you've got to try and keep as many as you can. I think people say Cornet is definitely gone. I wouldn't say he's definitely gone because Watford kept Ismail Assar. We've seen other teams keep players. We've seen Norwich keep Buendia, Norwich keep Cantwell. So we have seen players keep their clubs keep their players. But then the other side of that, we've seen Shaqiri leave Stoke when they went down to Liverpool. So it could go either way. I think Burnley may keep Cornet. You can clip this if you want, Dan. I think Cornet may stay for 1 year. But yeah, they have got a big job on their hands, and like you said, Chris, the window opens on the 10th of June. That's when Burnley have to have had a manager in already.
Yeah. And Dan, I mean, we're obviously concentrating on Burnley because you're in with us, but we know Tarkowski's gone. We pretty much have a feeling that Cornet may go. I mean, he's your most sellable asset. Of course. The most money for. McNeil, I mean, we were linked with him a couple of seasons ago. Are people sniffing around him?
There's not really been much said about McNeil at the moment. And I think the answer to that is because he's not been consistent enough this last season and a half. He's had so many games where he's just been poor. He's not willing to run for the second ball. He's sort of once he loses it, he's given up on the challenge, and that's it. And fans have been on his back. Even Dash was saying that's the best thing you could do. If fans are getting on your back, you now know where you need to work on your game and get used to having those pelters at you, because it'll make you stronger as a person. It'll make you better as a player. And to be honest, this season he's been all right-ish. But it's hard to say a player's been all right in a relegated side.
It is. I mean, we do know players will go. We know that. But, Dan, look at the playoff final. You had a lot of love from Ryan earlier. Do you give the love back with the playoff final?
100%. I'm backing Huddersfield to go all the way and do it and go up again. I want them to, for not just for Ryan, for Brad as well, who I've spoke to a few times. He's, I just love the ethos about Huddersfield. It's almost like that. Everyone sees them as this small club that aren't going to do anything, and they're going to be the new us. They're going to go up there if they achieve the achievable on Sunday, and they're going to punch above their weight to try and stay in the division, which is what we did for 6 or 7 years. So hopefully Huddersfield can emulate that.
Indeed. Well, Dan, I know it's been hard for you. Like I say, you've got most teams. Well, I think all three of us here have suffered relegation, so we all know what you've been through. We will speak. I am sure we will do things between now and next season. I've still got a bit of hours on with community service, I think. But good luck. We saw what it meant to you after your show at the weekend. Good luck next season, and all the best in coming straight back up. Just tell people if they fancy a bit of championship banter and chat, where can they find you?
Call it as it is, Chris. Championship eye candy. Let's call it as it is.
Technically, it's not a championship team yet because the championship final hasn't been played. So technically, he hasn't been able to be replaced yet.
Yeah, we're still Pirates. We're still in the Premier League with a giant R by our name. However, yeah, you can find me at Turf Morehouse. To be honest, today I've spent most of it adding championship accounts to talk to for next season. You know how draining that sounds? It's horrible because you're like, it's weird because you're thinking, I don't really want to be talking to these people, but you do because obviously that's the league and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So it's a catch-22. But yeah, Turf Morehouse on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch. But yeah, check us out. And we're not just going to be doing Burnley stuff, but we'll be doing some fun stuff, challenges, banter, quizzes, you name it. And yeah, please just show us your support.
and you deserve it, young man. You deserve it.
I wear it.
At least, at least you'll have more watch hours because you'll be doing more shows because there's more teams in that division.
Oh, tell me about it. Can you do a preview on Friday and then next team? Can you do one on Monday ahead of the Tuesday game? And can you do one on? Oh no.
Kate, get used to him not being there very often. Dan,
she's already used to it.
Thanks for coming on, mate. And like I say, all joking aside, good luck next season.
Good luck, Dan.
With fingers crossed that you'll come back up.
Oh, cheers. Good luck Sunday, Ryan. Mike, Newport will get promoted next season as well. Telling you now.
I hope. Well, that'll be for another day. But I bloody hope so. I'm going to get it.
Burnley Tom Telford will be the dream. I'm telling you.
I want to get out of that crap league now. It's doing my bloody head in.
What are you in? Serious question. Is it League 2 or League 1 you're in? No, it's a serious question.
League Two. Yeah,
so basically, what I was going to say was, and I wasn't taking the piss at all.
Oh, right, okay.
Certainly not out of Newport, but I don't, because they beat us in the FA Cup before you say it again. But one promotion for you, back-to-back relegations for Burnley. You two could be playing each other the season after next. They've gone quiet. Bye, Brian.
Yeah.
Bye, Dan. Goodbye.
I've gone quiet. I don't want us to drop that low. I'm joking, Dan.
Take it easy, legends.
Cheers, guys.
Keep up the good work.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Mike, thanks for coming on. You're going to be doing this regularly with us next season.
Yeah.
Every other week. And hope everything goes well for you tomorrow. A big darts, if you're into your darts, like I always say, I don't get the point of it, but it wouldn't be me if I didn't say that joke at some point. If you are a big darts fan, Mike is the guy to go. I took a girlfriend to play darts once, and I missed the board and hit her, and she just deflated. Anyway, Mike, where can people find you?
I don't see the point of that joke, though.
Yeah.
But no, Mike Green on YouTube. I'm actually finally going to bring the darts back. I did, a few polls on there, and it was a large percentage just saying, just bring it back. So I'll be doing that in a few weeks' time. Obviously, League 2 and Newport content next season as well. And obviously subscribe to Chris as well. Thanks for getting me on.
Brilliant, mate. Thanks very much for coming on, and all the best. And we will speak. Well, so we've got before next season, I'm sure.
Yeah. Cheers, Chris.
Cheers,
Thanks for getting me on.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ryan, I will be speaking to you only if you beat Forest, and I'm not going to. Like I said at the start, if you do not beat Forest, I am not talking to you. You will be cancelled. You will be cancelled. That's what they do these days, isn't it? The youngsters, they cancel you. No, I mean, seriously, had you been playing, say, Sheffield United in the final, I would have wanted Huddersfield. I think somebody said earlier about the Frank Worthington link, and I have sort of, as they had a follow, and I've kind of grown on Huddersfield since I've been winding the Spurs fans up. I remind them that you've actually won more top flight titles than they have. Yeah. But seriously, mate, I know you're going to be there. It's going to be nerve-wracking. All I can say is, I mean, we lost, having been 3-0 down to Swindon, we lost to them 4-3. And I actually, looking back on it, as bad as it was, at least we went down fighting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hopefully you guys will put up. Yeah. Where can people find you, mate?
Yeah, so like I said, kind of launched my channel a few weeks ago. You can find me on YouTube, Ryan Navy TV, Instagram and Twitter as well. And also my additional account, I kind of do my own group work, pushing for change in football. So you can follow my group, Proud Terriers, on Instagram, Twitter and YouTube as well as Facebook as well. So yeah, please check out all those. I would really appreciate that. And like I said, Chris, thanks for having me on. It's been great.
No, thanks for coming on, mate. Good luck on Sunday. You go and piss up Forest's tree. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, come on, let's have it.
As long as you don't get arrested. Really, you should take Dan along with you because he's good at finding places to piss. So maybe he should be with you. Yeah. All the best, Ryan. Thanks very much, mate.
Cheers. Thank you.
Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye. Thanks to all my guests there. What I need you to do, if you would be so very, very kind as to do this, he says, subscribe. Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube. We are slowly growing. Every subscription helps the channel. Smash the likes on this video as well. And remember to hit the notification, because this week, tomorrow night, we have got the watch along with between the teams Roma and Feyenoord. It should have been Leicester. Europa Conference final. We're doing a watch along for that. We've got Jerry Taggart, ex-Leicester player. He now works for the club in a commentator capacity. He will be discussing Leicester's last season. And he did say to me earlier, he said, how long is it going to be going on for, mate? I said an hour maximum. He said, well, we're going to talk about an hour from last season about. So we know the way that's going. This is really going to be good, especially for Daniel, who's still there, and for Man United fans as well. I've gone back to the show I did right at the start of the season when I got everybody on and everybody said where they thought their team would end up. And we'll be comparing that to where they actually did end up. This is going to be a laugh. You've got to be ready for that. Guys, if you've been listening on your favourite podcast platform, whatever that is, including the big ones, thank you so much. And if you've been watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Well, thanks to everybody that was in the chat. Terry, whether he's got his underpants outside or inside, thanks very much, mate. Thanks everybody that came on. I will see you tomorrow, 10 to 8, for the watch-along. Good night now.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
That's all, folks.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.